So I mean, I think most of my fans or just people in general know me from the tattoo world, from my books or the makeup line and things like that. And not everybody knows that my first and foremost huge passion has always been music. I was actually classically trained to play piano since I was 5 years old. And so music has basically been like the driving force behind everything I do. And I think a lot of people can pick up on that. It influences my tattooing, it influences everything. And so I think when I did announce that I was making music, you're always gonna get different sides to it. People are going to be excited about it, and then there's going to be some people that are going to doubt you because they want you to stay in your own lane or stick to what they know you for. But I've always been like, I want to be like Salvador Dali in the sense that, Dali did everything from painting. Obviously, he was known for that, but he did cookbooks. He designed architecture, furniture, jewelry. He's not a one-trick pony, and I think that we shouldn't limit ourselves to think, okay, you're only destined to do one thing and we're gonna tie it up in a beautiful little box with a bow. And so, to me, I think one of the bigger challenges with releasing music is gonna be letting the music speak for itself. And that's how I've always done it. It's like, I'm not gonna just be this like celebrity who says, oh, I'm gonna do this because it's cool now and slap my name on a product and just, see it fly off a shelf. Like, I always wanna do things wholeheartedly, and I think there's something to be said with how people respond to authenticity. And so, when I decided to make an album, I went and I started from scratch. I took voice lessons for 2 years, 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, and actually learned how to sing. I mean, when I was a kid, I sang in like church choir and stuff, but I wouldn't call myself a singer. And I'm still growing my voice every day, and I hope to do that until the day I die. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting and exciting to see how people receive it.
Well, I mean, the reactions already, on your Instagram, and everybody's going off.
Yeah, it's pretty intense to see the response so far because, I always like to create things that I personally would love. I don't write a song thinking, okay, this is, the chorus needs to come in at 30 seconds because this is going to help the algorithms. Like, I don't think that way. I just write what I want to, what I feel inside. And I think that a lot, this album in particular, I wrote it 10 years ago about an unrequited love. And, at the time I was very dysfunctional and in a dark and very lonely place. And so I didn't have certain support or, I don't know, people around me that understood how I was feeling. And I think that music was something that was always there for me, I'm not the only person that says this, but like, there's a soundtrack to your life that like narrates the good, the bad, and the ugly, and like, those songs will, they can help you during that time. And I hope if my songs help somebody feel less alone in their life, that's a beautiful thing.
That's amazing. So it's the title of the album, and I think let's get into how you made an album, but the title is Love Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
All right, explain the title and then the thoughts behind doing an album instead of just doing singles like everyone does.
Yeah, well, okay, so the reason I decided to make an album was because I was in this like unrequited love relationship with this guy who was in a band who lived overseas, and he wrote me an album and had it mailed to my house with a note on it that said, these are the things that are easier sung than said. And I sat down and I listened to this album and I thought, I was really moved by it. And I was like, what better way to respond than to respond with an album? And then that's when I started taking the voice lessons and learning how to sing. And, living in LA, you're lucky enough to be around so many talented, creative people. And a lot of my friends are people that I'm fans of. So when I would tell them about this project, they were really excited to get in on it and help me make it come to life. So I started working with Linda Perry, and we started writing a lot of songs together. Danny Lohner from 9 Inch Nails was my neighbor at the time, and so we started writing things together, and then he was the one that introduced me to Peter Murphy, and then we ended up doing a duet together that's on the album that I'm super proud of, and so on and so forth. Later on, I tattooed Dave Grohl, and he played like the live drums on one of the mixes, and so it just kind of came to be. But unfortunately, life tends to get in the way of life. And at the time I was filming a TV show, and I had just finished a book tour and then launching a makeup line, and I kept putting my music on the back burner. And it wasn't until last year when I said, man, like, I feel like I've lost passion in the beauty world. Like, I don't feel the same way that I used to when I first created my makeup line. I just feel like it's time to make space for the things that I am passionate about. And so I sold my makeup line, and I was like, let's go on tour. And then obviously everything locked down for a year, so we were kind of in a holding cell for a while. But I think everything happens for the right time, in the right time, and for the right reasons. And I'm excited to finally get it out. And I'm just so grateful that everybody's been so patient about it. So going back to answer your question, the reason that I named it "Love Made Me Do It," it's kind of like tipping my hat to the codependency that we experience in relationships at times. Like, love can make you do these amazing things and become a better person. They can inspire great works of art and all this stuff, but they can also make you do crazy, stupid shit, And to me, I mean, I've done a lot of crazy, wild things because of love, and this album was, I guess, a side effect of falling in love, and whether it was with the right person or not, Obviously, I'm happily married now with my son, and my husband and I always laugh about how we're like, oh yeah, all these songs are about my cat.
This is Nietzsche here?
Yeah, that's
okay,
Nietzsche.
Your cat's like me, so I hope that's a
Yeah,
good
oh yeah, they love you. You're welcome here. Most people, when they found out I was making music, expected me to come out with a metal album, because I love black metal and I love, everything from industrial to, rock and all that stuff. But that's not really where my heart sits. I'm a huge fan of analog synths and synthwave. I love Depeche Mode and The Cure and things like that. So to me, I feel like where my vocals land as well, it lends itself more to this kind of music. It's where I feel good singing. So when you listen to tracks like Exorcism or I Am Nothing, I'd like to think that you still get that nostalgic sense of, sounds that you hear in the 1980s, but a more modernized version of it. It doesn't feel dated to me, and yeah. But then I wrote all of these songs on piano, with the exception of 2 on guitar. I'm not a good guitar player at all, but these songs were designed, or they were written in the singer-songwriter's fashion. So they're designed to be sung and played live, and so I think that that kind of maintains that human fingerprint onto it. So it's not techno, it's not electronic. It's electronic, but it's not electronic music.
Yeah, it's like old new wave punk now.
Yeah.
Here's Nietzsche. This
Yeah.
is the spoiler alert.
Nietzsche.
Nietzsche.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frederick says this.
Yeah.
He corrects me every time I say it.
Yeah.
He's the unofficial star of the video.
That's right.
How'd that come about?
So basically, I wanted to do a video where I was going to be able to introduce my bandmates, because my bandmates are so amazing, and they're I always call them the Goth Power Rangers, together, united, we're so powerful, and we're all so different from each other, even though we have a lot in common. But I felt like doing this music video, I wanted to introduce each of them in their own, I guess, shine a spotlight on them in their own pedestal. And so it's about this mission. We're on this mission through this desert to get to the top of this castle where my secret love is waiting for me. And my bandmates join me in this effort. And then the big reveal is obviously it's my cat.
I love that sense of humor, because
yeah,
it's a
me
very
too.
serious song.
Oh, for sure.
And everyone's cool.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then you get there, and the big reveal is
yeah.
your hairless cat.
Well, it was supposed to, that was the thing. I was we need to just turn up the drama. I want you guys flying through the air. So we got a stunt crew, and they were all rigged up to ropes and flying, and we had to obviously in post take all the strings out and everything. But I was the more dramatic we make it, the funnier the punchline will be.
Why are these cats so social? I've never seen such social cats.
Yeah, they're like little monkey dogs. They're the sweetest.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I Am Nothing.
Yeah.
Talk to me about where that comes from, because especially coming from someone who is very much someone who's
yeah.
something, but I think everybody can relate to feeling
of
that
course.
at some point. Where that song come from?
Well, I mean, everybody is something, and I think that at one point in your life, you link up with somebody that makes you feel less than. And, I've been, prior to my marriage, I've been in nothing but dysfunctional relationships where, and I'm not putting the blame on my partners. I think that when I look at who's to blame for things, it's always I want to take, responsibility for my actions. I choose these certain people with certain traits. And it wasn't until I fixed myself that I could set myself up for a proper, healthy relationship, So, these relationships that I was in, you know, I felt like, why isn't this working? Like, am I not good enough for you to, you know, for whatever, to not cheat on me, to fight for this love, to make the effort, and like you said, everybody can relate to that. You know, I think, I mean, at one point, I mean, I don't know, it doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna feel the effects of heartbreak.
Do you think, are you comfortable being vulnerable? Because you
Yeah.
come off as a very strong personality.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm an open book, so I have no problem talking about my vulnerability. I think that, you know, there's nothing wrong with showing your weaknesses, and I definitely have a lot of them. I mean, I'm not perfect by any means, and I'll continue to have weaknesses, but I mean, I'd like to think I've grown up a lot since I've written this album and stuff, so, you know, matured in some ways, so. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you wanna, I guess be inspired by another musician, but you don't wanna necessarily like adopt their style because you want to develop your own style?
Yeah.
Was there a little artistic separation?
Well, I mean, I wrote this album almost 10 years ago, and so it was prior to me being with my husband. And I think that, I mean, one of the things that we do have in common is that we love a lot of the same music, and we come from a lot of the same background. So it's not necessarily, I mean, I can't say that my husband inspired this record because I wrote it so long ago, but we're already working on album number 2, and for that, for sure, there'll be some, I don't want to say influences, but I'm going to be writing about my, you know, my relationship in some ways. But yeah, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But you know, I think as far as what I think is interesting with, you know, my husband's band Prayers is that we're so different from each other. Like, his music is so much more aggressive, and, you know, he sings about a lot of different things. You know, I think he wrote his first love song for the first time ever this last year on his new album. So, and whereas I just only write love songs. So, but the interesting thing is that we really tend to complement each other. So, you know, we were like, hey, we got to tour together. So, like, this first tour that we're going to be doing internationally and in the U.S. as well, Prayers will be coming along with us, and plus we get to bring our son with us. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Has being a mom changed a lot in terms of the way that you look at art and express yourself, or?
No, a lot of people ask me that. I think I compartmentalize things pretty well. The only thing that I think being a mother affects is just scheduling. But I have such a good partner. You know, my husband is such a good Mr. Mom when I have to do interviews or do whatever. So, you know, we tag team, and we help out each other. So. Yeah, but I think, yeah, I was telling my husband the other day, I remember when we were editing the video for Exorcism, and my son was sitting on my lap and we were looking at one of the cuts, and he pointed at the screen and said, "Mama," and it just filled my heart because, and this is no judgment on other artists, but I just know that, like, the things I create, there are things that my son will, when he grows up, will be able to be proud of, and I love that. I love that. I think that's something to you know, to be proud of. You know, I think I look back at my past, and there's a lot of mistakes I've made, but I've written books about them, you know, about getting sober, or you know, the mistakes that I've made in my own past, and hopefully my son learns from them too. But at the end of the day, I hope that my son thinks I'm cool when he grows up, you know? I mean, he'll probably think I'm weird, but whatever. That's cool too.
No, you're inspiring and motivating to anybody that knows your story.
Oh, thank you.
Just a couple more things.
Yeah.
The last time I was here, I always Leafar.
Yeah.
Say, right?
Yeah.
Leafar. He gave us a little tour. This house is starting to get like some notoriety. Every time you have a guest over, they have an Instagram picture and stuff. And there's a red pool with a picture of. Tell me about this place that you built. Yeah. So, you know, we bought this house in Los Angeles in Hancock Park. And it's a historic house built in 1890. It was actually built in 1890 downtown, and then they cut it in half at one point and moved it here, which I don't know how they did that. But when I bought it, it did not look the way it looks now. I spent over 6 years restoring it to where it is now, and we've really made it our home. But yeah, I think people come in here like, whoa, it's like a museum or a haunted house, or, you know, whatever. I just love to surround myself with things that I am passionate about, and I love the Victorian era. There's so much like handmade craftsmanship that it's just, you just don't find that in new houses. So it's obviously not for everybody, but for me, I love it. And I intend on making a book about it, just because there's a lot of really cool do-it-yourself stuff that I've done. I don't know if you've seen the Penny Floor Room. I'll take you there afterwards.
But like, there's those little things that you can make your house look cool just by doing it on your own. And I love that. I love making my surroundings like a type of inspiring sanctuary.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you got cast, mid-season replacement in Miami Ink, however many years ago, to go do tattoos, did you think that it was all of this journey that you created for yourself was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen?
No, I mean, it's interesting when I look back at my career, I was so happy just doing tattoos. I would have remained happy that way. I still tattoo till this day. But then the show got thrown in the mix, and I had zero expectations of it. I honestly wasn't a TV watching person, and I definitely wasn't a fan of being on camera. But I thought it would be important to be the best representation I could be for tattooing at that time. And although I didn't have very, very good memories in Miami, I think once we got my own spin-off show in LA, it was a beautiful thing. I loved being able to document my life in a way, through tattooing, because I was able to document everything from my breakups to my sobriety and to the trials of life. And I'm a big fan of documenting things. I archive everything. I keep the first 5 of everything I've ever made. And I did this before I had a son, so I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but now I guess I have something to pass on to my kid. But yeah, I never expected to be where I am now. I think I'm just grateful that I've always surrounded myself around people that cared about me. And I don't have that many friends, but the few friends I have are real. And my family, I was blessed with a family that instilled good values. Like my dad was always very adamant about not putting importance on status and fame and money, and being humble. And I think that's so crucial. I've met so many people that are successful and they're total jerks, and I wouldn't want to spend a minute with them. And it doesn't matter who they are. And so I think that's important. I would hate. I can't even imagine what it would be like to just like believe your own hype.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add about where it goes from here?
No, I mean, I think what I am looking forward to with this upcoming tour is that I'm going to be able to go and play in the town that I was born in Mexico, and so I haven't been there in I think almost 20 years. So hopefully I'll be well received and we can rock your faces off.
Nice. Your family's originally from Argentina?
Yeah, de Argentina, de Buenos Aires y Rosario, y yo nací en México en un pueblito, Montemorelos, en Nuevo León. Los Tigres del Norte. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Cool.
Because with this lighting, let me grab a picture with you.
Yeah, sure, of course.
And you said before we leave, you can show us.
Yeah. I'll show. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right, now, do you have your iPhone? Yes. All right, take a picture with that because my Samsung is off. All right, cool. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Those are great questions. I'm surprised this one came up, Calaca. Usually Nietzsche is the one that's all up on my shit.
Yeah, he's so nice.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's like, am I gonna get some cuddles?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me see.
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, all right.
Was this nothing?